What's up, guys? My name's Dylan, and today we're talking about a listing that I have in Florida at the Kelllogg Mansion, and I have pulled in $213,000 in booking requests on this property over the last 6 months. Okay, and now what I'm looking for is a partner to come buy this property with me and for us to ride off into the sunset. And I'm going to talk about what kind of numbers I think we can throw up. Okay, so what we have done so far is $213,000 over the last 6 months in booking requests and inquiries. We have an estimate income of $48,000 per month. I'm going to show my calculator on that. When we buy the property, it's going to have $1 million of equity right off the bat, and the plan is to develop it such that we get $2 million worth of equity very soon after having purchased it. Okay, so that's my plan, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. Now, as we're looking through some of these photos of the property, which is amazing, I want to let you know that this presentation is for somebody that is a would-be investor, someone that has money, an affluent person that has great credit, very good income, can get loans on this, or wants to buy it with cash, or also just anyone else, because even if you aren't in a position to buy this thing, you might know some people that do, or you might want to be in my position and learn from me and be able to put deals like this together. And so for all of those reasons, you're going to want to watch this, see what I'm doing, see how I'm doing it, and there's tons of ways to work with me. Our school is amazing, the Modern Profits Academy, and I think you're going to be impressed with this presentation. It's going to be a little informal. Look, it's not like a slide presentation. I'm just going through my computer through some of the tabs that I have open on this property, okay? So here's the really beautiful main picture of this property, right? This is the quintessential picture, the Kelllogg Mansion. You can see in the distance there, there's a little island. That's basically a private island. It's not owned in this property, but pretty much no one else goes to it. You know, it's just phenomenal. So there's 3 lots there, and I'm going to get into the development plan on that. And it's got kind of 3 different fronts to it. This is facing south, and it is a really famous architect that had built it. So this is Bond Bar, because Sean Connery lived here for a little while. And here we have the west facing front. Master bathroom. This is all, you know, it's built in the roaring 20s, so it's pretty cool. And Kellogg was a paranoid guy, famously paranoid, and there was secret rooms and panels and stuff. This is the master. And here's the deal. The owner wants $4.5 million bucks. Okay, it's off market right now. And I went and I found him, and I basically started to talk to him, wanted to do a lease with an option to purchase. And he said, I'm open to that, but you really got to have your buyer in hand to do that. So I said, how about this? How about I just list this thing on Airbnb and VRBO, and we see what kind of income could come in on it, and then I use that to be able to find a partner that would buy this thing with me. So he said, sure, we can do that. And so I have good communications with him, and I gotta say that he's a cool cat, and we've become friends and through this ordeal. And I think one of the big reasons why is because we just started off the communication right. When I came and did the vacation in Florida to go look for a property. Venza and I looked at a couple different places. Well, I think we went out to 30 places, and then we picked 4 that we really wanted to go after, and 2 of them we got agreements with the owners to go after. So we also rented really nice cars. So we rented a Maserati, and we like to have fun on these trips too, so you know, some of it's work and some of it's play. This is a picture of us in the Maserati, and I'll tell you, it definitely helps open the communication properly when you've got a car that's worth 6 figures or more. So after checking out this property, we went and did this photo shoot, and there was a rap group in this parking lot that had just finished their music video and just published it, and they took these pictures of us. So look, when we're looking for partners, we're looking for people that want to have fun with us. Part of it is about having the amazing property, and that makes us a lot of money. But the other part of it is having something that we can go on vacation with. And so we look for partners that have interests that are similar to ours, and we all want to go on vacation together. Because life is too short to not be having fun while you're doing it. So let's look at some of the numbers. So what do these numbers mean? All of these are booking requests, and they're booking requests and they're booking inquiries. So on Airbnb, mainly we got booking requests, which means that the person, had we approved it, almost all of those turn into actual bookings. Very, very rarely do those fall out. And the way that VRBO does it is they do more with inquiries, okay? It's just a different term, and most of those also turn into bookings. So not all of these would have become bookings, but in fact, way more would have likely as well, because we didn't build these profiles out at all, okay? Literally, like, this is my VRBO profile, and we had no reviews on VRBO, and we had 1 review that we had onto the Airbnb profile. So all of this was with nothing. These are the actual messages for all of the inquiries. You can see I've got 41 there on VRBO, and this is my Airbnb profile for it. This is my Airbnb message center, okay? And if I search Kellogg Mansion in my emails, this is actually Venza's emails, you can see all these booking requests. So let's go through them for a second. I put notes in here, and none of these dates here overlap, okay? So I've got $213,746 in booking requests and inquiries, and that spans 164 days. And the dollars per day on that is $13.03. Okay, so that's what we figure we can enter the market with. Now, here's some duplicate dates. These guys wanted dates that other people had on here, and there's another $21,000 of booking requests and inquiries that had duplicate dates. Now, a lot of these are far in the future. People are wanting to do a vacation, and they're a little bit flexible because it's so far out in the future. So I would imagine a lot of these, if not all, would become bookings as well. Okay, so when we add those up, we're up to $235,000 of bookings, okay? Now, there was also inquiries that didn't have prices attached to them. I had 10 days of bookings that didn't have prices attached to them. And, you know, we're about $1,000 a day, a little bit more, so another 10 grand really That's $245,000. You know what? Because our average price is $1,303. Man, that puts us up at $248,000, almost $250,000 of booking requests and inquiries over the last 6 months. So that's pretty cool. That is good news. Okay, that means that people want to rent this property. And I want to point out a couple of these bookings. You know, the biggest one that we got here was 16 guests for 7 nights, $11,700. I like seeing that. Seeing the big bookings, you know, it would be definitely better to get a lot of or less big bookings than having a bunch of little tiny ones. It's more work on the house to have different crews moving in and out, to have the cleaning crews come all the time. So we want to have the longer stays, the big money ones. It's easier. And I'm just going to show that booking. Damn, this is the email right here. I just love to see this. $11,740. That's pretty cool. And you know, this is a guy that this is my his reviews. He's got 103 reviews, and he's got great reviews. You know, good doing business with you. They're welcome to stay again. And we like to look at our bookings, of course, and make sure that the people that would be staying with us aren't going to be people that are destroying the house. That's one of the ways that we protect the property. So the biggest day that we had booked, so on May the 2nd, we got $14,000 of bookings right there. Actually, let's say exactly what we got was this plus that. We got $14,356. Bam. So I just love seeing that, and I get that on my other properties too, but it makes me so happy. It doesn't wear off when because I've worked hard during my life, and to get, you know, $14,000, the things I've had to do, the months I've had to work for that, to just see this kind of just roll in is very cool. So when I said that the profile's not built out, one of the biggest things that we would do on this is we would cater to weddings, because as I go through here and I go through my notes, I see wedding, a lot of weddings. Getting married on Kelllogg Island. Okay, so people want to get married and they want to have some amazing place, either for their honeymoon or for the ceremony, and we would cater to them. And I even reached out to some wedding planners, and they would love to rent this place. So just off the bat, you know, the amount of money that we've booked is so minuscule in comparison to when we have actual reviews. I mean, I think it's insane that someone would want to book this place for $11,000 and there's one review on the property or 0 reviews in the property. I mean, that's crazy. So once we have the 10 reviews, the 20 reviews, they're looking at the calendar, and the calendar's, you know, blocked out a lot of the time, helping give that fear of loss, that if they don't book today, they're just going to be gone. You know, as we build that out, this property would become way more profitable, and I'm going to show you what our estimations are for that in just a minute. But first, I want to point out also, you know, the kind of people that we have on these trips. One of these stood out to me. This just seems like a fun group of guys. I pulled up the email where Nick had requested, and here we go. 10th annual trip, solid core of great guys in town for basketball, Tampa, golf, and some spring training. So I've had such amazing connections through my Airbnbs. I had one guest that was staying with me in one of my Vegas properties, and I got to talking to him. I don't always go by the properties, but sometimes I do. And I got talking to this guy, and it turned out that he's like best friends with my favorite rapper when I was in high school and in college. My favorite music artist, he was best friends with, and he ended up setting up a meeting, and we really hit it off. I ended up taking the guy to lunch, and he still contacts me, the rapper, and still contacts me, and it's really cool to you know, not just from a business stance, but you end up meeting really cool people, and it's nice to it's nice. We had a lot of personal messages of people telling their stories of why they would want to rent this place, kind of selling us on them, of why we should pick them. So let's get to the profit calculator. All right, so that's the next step. Profit calculator. Now we're going to start out. You can see I've got a couple tabs on the bottom of my spreadsheet, and the first one is low pre-sale. Okay, so when you're starting to sell something out, you just want to make back your expenses. So want to make sure that we can insert ourselves into the market. Okay, so wherever we land as someone without reviews and without a lot of bookings, we've got to compete. And because our booking requests are coming in at an average of 1,303, that's where we're going to be able to compete, is the estimate. Okay, so we're also looking at 21 days, 21.2 days that we feel would be what we can rent this thing for. Okay, and actually I'm going to show you how I calculate what our estimate number of days are booked in a different video. So if you don't immediately see a link to that, you can message me, and I'll give you a link to how to see that. And what's cool is that the numbers just are working out. You know, this is a break-even property at the get-go, which is nice to be able to break even from day one. Okay, so we're not talking about big income. We're talking about net income of $92. Okay, I'm going to bring you through this calculator real quick. So the monthly mortgage and/or lease, 18 grand. You can see here, these are our expenses. Okay, we've got insurance, maintenance, the utilities, the management software, so that's Airbnb and VRBO, and then we've got co-hosting, so the actual manager of the property. And those utilities are broken down to here, the way that we get to that $1,600. Okay, a little legal disclaimer here. Okay, this presentation is for educational uses only. I'm not a registered investment advisor. I'm just a real estate investor that has tons of practice in the field of making deals happen. So I haven't taken real estate agent license exam or taken that 50-hour course that those guys do. You know, I definitely have advised a lot of realtors, but I don't have the difference is those guys are they have a license, and so they have a bond in case they mess up and they tell you the wrong thing. Then you can sue them, their bond pays out. Okay, so that's why we have licensed professionals, so that there's a legal liability with an insurance policy set up to pay out for it. Okay, so here's what our target is. Now, our target, where we feel we can compete in the market, is at $2,280 per night. And you know, I feel like my what we'd be shooting for, our high target, is actually even way more than that. But this is our target, what we would realistically feel that we could be hitting, and that we'd be aiming for this property in the first year. Is that we would be aiming for that. And when you when you look at the monthly income, the total monthly income before paying those expenses is $48,000. I'm gonna fix my headset, a little headset right here, so I can make sure my audio is on point. All right, so total expenses, 32 grand, cash flow, 15 grand. Okay, so now we're gonna break down what these calculator numbers mean, because I got a bunch of things over here. I want you to look at them. Okay, so the big numbers here is after paying all the expenses, this thing's gonna pull in, based on these numbers, $186,000 per year. Okay, so that's cash. And it's after expenses, the cash that comes to us. Now, if you want a way to not pay so much taxes on the money that's coming in, I've gotten some other videos about how to move to Puerto Rico, down to the Caribbean where I moved, so you can escape most taxes that people pay. But right here we're talking about $186,000, okay? And there's also going to be appreciation in this property, right? So appreciation happens at an average rate of 6% per year. Okay, so that's average over over most of U.S. history. However, look, appreciation is not guaranteed. In fact, not all of these numbers are not guaranteed. I can't make, I don't have a crystal ball, and I can't make an exact claim as to what this is going to pull in. Okay, so all we can do is we can make our best guess, and then we can work as hard as hell to get it. Okay, and that's what I do. But on a lot of my other properties, I will tell you that I put these calculators together, and I do whatever I can. I try to underpromise and overdeliver, and because I do that, I've found that I'm outperforming my calculators that I've put together that my partners have said yes to on previous properties. Okay, so appreciation, 6%. This is a $4.5 million property. Okay, so $270,000. Bam. And then here's another thing. This is new, that people are actually buying and selling the business that is in the properties for Airbnb, okay? Look at Marriott, see that they are getting into the luxury vacation rental space. They're buying up luxury properties. I have a private equity firm that is buying up luxury vacation businesses. Okay, so once there's a proven income stream, and they're talking about only needing 8 months of a proven income stream before they're interested in coming in looking at buying these, and the valuation that they're going off of is 3 times to 5 times the cash flow, okay, or the yearly cash flow. So you take that 186,000, the cash flow, and multiply that by 3, and what we've got here is, I gotta get closer to my computer to look at it. $559,000 in the business valuation. Okay, and that's the low amount. Okay, so if I actually did the 5 times, that would be a $932,000 valuation. Okay, so but we're under promising and over delivering wherever we can. Okay, that's just an example. So when you add up the cash, the appreciation, and the business valuation, we're up at $1 million that we would have because we did this deal that we wouldn't have had before. Okay, so that's our profit calculator. Now, back to what we were initially talking about here, which is our development plan and getting into it with $1 million, the actual purchase plan. But hey, you know what? Shit. I want to backtrack for just a second, because I wanted to point out that when you're looking at these numbers here, and this is the booking requests and the inquiries, you see that the dates the dates jump around a little bit. So, you know, we had bookings in May, and then bam, we didn't have a booking request until July, okay? Another part of us being able to maximize the bookings on these properties is when we're actually making money from this, I'm going to be having my team looking and making sure that it doesn't become a dead listing. Okay, so this is something that this happens to people that are even experts that have been in this business for a long time. All of a sudden, Airbnb, their algorithm takes you out of the loop sometimes, and they throw you way to the bottom of the stack. Meaning, if there's 17 pages on Airbnb, they'll throw you onto the that they show. They only show the top 17 pages. They'll throw you on the 18th page or the 22nd page, so you don't even show up. No one can even see you. So, and that's called being a dead listing. And what happens is Airbnb, VRBO will shuffle you out of the deck for a little bit and then shuffle you back in. Now, if you don't know this is going on, and if your manager doesn't know that this is going on, then you're in trouble, because all of a sudden your income's going to drop off, and you're not going to know what happened to you. But I've got a great video on dead listings, how to revive them, that I'll also be able to give you. So hit me up about that. And bam, let's go back to development. Now, here we go. Okay, how to buy this place with $1 million in equity starting out. Okay, so here's the purchase plan. What I like to do is I like for everyone to win in a deal, okay? That means that I gotta win, you gotta win, the seller of the property has gotta win. It's gotta be a win-win, and if there's 3 people involved, win-win-win, all right? And the way to do that is to make sure that you're loose and that you've got a Dylan on your team that can put the deals together to make it so that it works. So one thing that's really cool about this property is it's a big lot, and it's not just one lot, it's 3 lots, so separate property lines. And on the north lot, there's a garage. Okay, so that's just a garage. And then there's the middle lot that has the property on it, the actual house. And then there's the south lot that's empty. And banks like to finance properties that have houses on them. So the owner wants $4.5 million. I have a way to get him the $4.5 million, but make it so that you win and I win, okay? Okay, so here's our lot valuations. And I have a valuations guy. He's an appraiser I've worked with for a while. He's good. And I put together my plan on something. I think it's worth a certain amount. I send it over to him, and he lets me know what he thinks it really is worth. And I'm usually pretty close. Sometimes I'm a little bit low, sometimes a little bit high. I thought if I took these 3 properties and just looked at the valuations of the land, that I was going to be around $3 million. He thinks it's like $2.7 million. Okay, so I was within 10% there. So here's where the deal gets really cool. By considering splitting the lots and selling these separately. Now the guy that owns it is willing to hold financing. Okay, and that's why this deal gets really good. Okay, so the challenge with trying to finance $4 million, $4.5 million, is that the banks want maybe 25-30% down. Okay, so we're talking about millions of dollars out of pocket. So what if we could change the deal a little bit and make it so that it was better for everybody? Okay, and so these are the things. I've got a good relationship with the owner. The best deal is that can be had on this thing is with me making this thing happen. Okay, so and here's how I'd make it happen. But most all these things have been pre-negotiated and worked out, but we still gotta close it. You know, so, and there's permitting potentiality. There's a lot of moving parts to make it so this happens. So when we're talking about doing something on this, we should work quickly, make it happen, and make sure that we that we give it the best chance of closing by working well together. Okay, so here's the plan. $2.5 million. That's the jumbo loan's max for being able to get a 5% down payment is $2.5 million. So what we do is we attach the financing, the bank financing, to the middle property so we can get a little down payment, okay? So the down payment is $131,000. Now remember, from our calculator, we're pulling in way more than that per year. So it's really cool. Most properties don't service the debt like this. Most properties don't make this kind of income. So the purchase for the middle property and the lot would be $2.6 million. Okay. Then we have the owner financing that we would attach to the north and the south lots. Okay, and that'd be $1,832,000. So he's getting his $4.5 million price point that he wants. He's getting his $4.5 million price point that he wants, but it's being shifted around a little bit, okay? And I have a plan to help him get out of his owner financing very quickly, okay? So he'll hold financing, but he won't have to hold it for all that long. And a little disclaimer here is that, you know, you got to check with your lender to make sure they're cool with doing the deal in the way that you want to do it. Now, what's amazing is that just like if you take a six-pack of Coca-Cola, and you buy it for $3, and you break those Coke cans out of there, you can sell them for maybe $1 a can, and so now that $3 six-pack turns into $6, right? So when we break apart this property, it's now worth more as the culmination of its three parts than it was as a whole, right? Because now we've got the center middle property with the lot is worth, my evaluations guy says, $4 million. Okay, so it'd be sold as a deep discount. We've got the south lot and the north lot, all of that valuing up to now $5.6 million, which means that our starting equity, when you take the what it's worth minus what was paid for it, is a little bit over $1 million. Okay, so starting out, we're talking about $1 million of equity. I like that. That is good. So it's nice to see we've got a property that has shown that it will make money. We've got a property with a profit calculator that looks like we would have very aggressive income, and then we would also be millionaires starting out on this deal. But wait, there's more. So obviously someone's holding the financing, the owner's holding the financing. I don't think he wants to hold on to it forever. Most likely, typically, people would hold financing just so that it's intermediary. So let's talk about development. Now, I'm not talking about developing the pieces and selling them. I'm talking about developing them and keeping them. Okay, so development phase. So the goal is to take these side lots and put some houses on them such that we can refinance them with investor loans and pay nothing down into them, okay? So an investor loan right now, they're looking to finance around 75% of the value, okay? and the cash out refis. So basically what we'd be doing is getting an additional construction loan on it. It'd be like bridge financing. And at the end of the construction loan, we would get long-term financing on the north lot and the south lot. Okay? So the way that I put this deal together is I looked at the development part of the deal together, is I looked at what the homes in the area are going for, okay? And they're going for around $500 a square foot on the homes, okay? And obviously, we'd have to delve deeper into this and make sure we have a better assumption, but that's super accurate. Okay, I'm doing it's a kind of a rough up on this, but we can see that there's the deal has it has legs, it has mobility. So if we look at the most expensive price per building, okay, usually building costs are about in between $100 and $150, $155 per square foot when you're building. We can see that I just have a calculation in here that we calculate the building cost for how many square feet. And what I did was I just played with the numbers on how big of a house we would have to build in order to get a valuation that allows us to refinance with no money into it, okay? So I'm gonna say that again. And we'll go back up here. On the south lot, it's a 15,000 square foot lot, and north lot is a 12,000 square foot lot. So what we want to know is basically, first of all, can we build a 4,700 square foot house on a 15,000 square foot lot? Yeah, that's possible, especially if we're doing 2 stories. So we're doing 2,000 square foot. We've got tons of lot space left. So do we have room to do this? Yes, we do. So at $155 a square foot, our building cost is $728,000. We could build a really amazing house for $750,000. Okay, and our approximate after repaired value is $2.3 million. Now there's a place down the road and I'm not exactly sure on the numbers. It just came to mind to me. That's around this size. That's more like a $4 million house. Okay, so it could be that our value that I'm trying to be conservative wherever possible to make it so that we have numbers that are very doable. Okay. So, based on the amount that we would have into the deal, okay, the financing that we had, plus the cost to build, the equity we'd have, as soon as that thing's built, is about $500,000 on the south lot, and a little bit less than $500,000 on the north lot, okay? And the loan to values, okay, so the amount that we would be borrowing versus the amount that it would be worth would be, we'd work to get these right below 75%. So we do this deal, we develop up with no money into it. Now what's really cool is that now we have these other houses that we get to have, okay? So now these are, instead of having one dope, amazing super house, we've got 3 houses, and instead of just having the one property that's pulling in $48,000 per month, now we've got 3. Now look, these are not as big of properties, so we're not going to make the $48,000 probably from these other ones, but maybe we're making, maybe we're making an extra $25,000. That would be pretty cool, right? So instead of making $48,000, we're pulling in $75,000 per month. And this is a big business. That means that our cash flow is going to end up being a lot more likely. Okay. Now, the equity on that main house was $1.2 million. Now you add in the new $1 million of equity that we have from developing, and we're up to $2.2 million that we have from this deal in total. So we're talking about a property that's pulling in around 50 G's a month. We're talking about being able to get into something with multiple millions of dollars of equity. And this is a good deal. I don't know how long this deal is going to be around for. And it's not just about this deal. I mean, I think now you're starting to see that I can put deals together. And I've done a lot of real estate deals. I've bought and sold a lot. In fact, my wife and I, when we were cutting our teeth sharp on fix and flipping, we were doing as many as 12 flips at a time. We've developed our own strategies. We've been educators in the field for quite some time. And if we have the right partner, and it's really about the right person, you know, with the right partner, even if this deal is no longer available, we're willing to put something together for that partner where we go out into an area that we both want and figure out how to put something together. You know, we spend 10 or 20 days in that area, and we work within the priorities that we've set to be able to get something like this. And I don't know that all deals are going to be this fat. Right now, it's really good for Airbnb and VRBO. It's crazy because, I mean, I've got one property that in Vegas that I paid $250,000 for, and it's pulling in $15,000 a month on Airbnb. And that's pretty cool. I paid $0 down for that deal as well. Okay, what should we do with this information? Now, if you have the ability to buy a property like this, you should reach out to me, okay? Call me, start talking to my team, and we'll see if we have some synergy, okay? And we only work with cool people, really. I gotta like the person I'm doing business with if we're doing a partnership on a property, because it's like a marriage. And I handle all aspects of the deal. So why my partners love me is if they want to do stuff on the deal, they can, but me and my team, we just handle it. We're good at it, so we do it. So we just handle everything, okay? But some other people that are watching this thing that maybe know the person that would buy this deal, or are just looking to become a student and learn how to do these deals from the ground up, right? How to put these together. So just reach out to us, you know, all of you, and see where you fit. And we actually have a budget. If you refer somebody to us that ends up being a partner, you know, we have a budget for the right person. Of course, we only work with cool people there too. But you know, we pay out for somebody that introduces us to the person that has a property that we're going to buy, or that ends up buying a property from us or with us. So. And of course, there's conditions that apply to that, but reach out to us and figure out how that works. And then for other people that want to become a student, we've got great programs, and we teach people how to do this stuff. So it's cool that even if you didn't do real estate deals and you took our courses, you just made some introductions, you can make back your investment in education back from one introduction, right? So. I'm glad that you hung out with me today, and I look forward to talking to you soon.